Alabama just continues to lose more and more players to the transfer portal and recruits. Talked about Caleb Downs as safety entering the transfer portal and a couple others. What are your thoughts here? To me, it doesn't seem like this is panic mode. You hired the best coach possible for the long term, not just to keep a couple of the big players you had on this year's team together. Now, the quarterback position is going to continue to be interesting because of the style system Kalen DeBoer runs with Jalen Milroe. But your thoughts on what is kind of becoming a mass exodus, but I just wanted to see how you saw it.
Well, David, I think it depends on how you look at it, and you used a phrase there, long term. I mean, you look at these things in long terms because you realize how this goes, right? That football is cyclical, that you can't just have a knee-jerk reaction to something, that it's a marathon, not a sprint. But Alabama fans have not had to wait long term in a long time, right? That they've been spoiled by Nick Saban, and that's great. That's not a bad thing. Just like I want to spoil my kids, I want to spoil them in the right way, right? But I want to be able to give them everything they want as much as humanly possible, right? That's not going to be detrimental to their development. But when you're giving your fan base national championships and college football playoff appearances and SEC championships, right? That's something you never want to end. Right, you're not going to stunt their development as long as you're the head coach there. Well, now you're not, and most Alabama fans are not going to look at this in long term. And there's a little bit of a reason to be worried, I think, because it's one thing, right, to lose guys. We see this all the time when coaches leave. Hell, we see it when coaches stay. One of the hardest problems is re-recruiting your own guys. But it's another thing to lose the guys, right? Caleb Downs is your best player on defense, in my opinion. He's the best DB in the country. If there was a 6-star or a 7-star prospect, Caleb Downs is that. And losing T-Rob, I think, is one of the main reasons you're seeing him go into the portal. And every update's been that he's leaving, and it's probably going to Georgia, which makes it hurt even worse, right? Because that you were the Emperor and they were Vader. Well, now the Emperor's gone, and it's just Vader, and he's accumulating some of your wealth and weapons. Then you look at Caden Proctor. And I know Caden Proctor gave up some sacks this year, but any Alabama fan that doesn't want to hold on to a freshman future NFL player that may have had a little bit of struggles going up against some of the best talent in the country as a pup over the long term has lost their mind. So Alabama fans, the ones that are used to the instant return, which has really been all they've been given since outside of year one and Nick Saban, they are going to panic. Should Alabama fans panic? No. Should they be all as excited and think nothing's going to change? No. The answer is somewhere in the middle. So I will say what I've said, and I will continue to say, whether it's on On3 with Andy Staples, whether it's on our show, whether it's on radio, whatever. I think Kalen DeBoer's tenure is going to be defined by the level of freak out in the Alabama fan base, right? The first time something inevitably goes wrong. Because with Nick Saban, there was leeway there. Why? One, because of what Nick Saban had done in the past. He'd won so many championships and given Alabama fans so much, you could swallow a loss to Texas at home, right? You could swallow maybe not playing that great at USF. And even at that point, Alabama fans, some of them wanted Nick Saban fired. Not all of them, right? I'm not putting everybody in there, but they thought, oh, well, Nick Saban's done. He's never. What does he do? Turns it around, beats Kirby in the SEC championship, goes to the playoff. He also got leeway because he's proven he could fix it. Anytime anything's ever been broken for Alabama, he fixed it. Hurry up, no huddle was a problem. He fixed it, right? The offense was a problem. He fixed it. This past season, the whole team was a problem. He fixed it, outside of the defense, really. And even they struggled sometimes. He fixed it. Kalen DeBoer gets no leeway. You haven't won anything for the Alabama fan base. You haven't proven that you can fix anything in the SEC. You got to prove that you can get the benefit of the doubt and the leeway, and you haven't done that. So what happens if they go up and lose at Wisconsin and then Georgia back to back? Is it just panic and pandemonium? What happens if they do go 8-4? Is it oh no, this is a disaster? It's always tough when you replace the GOAT. Not just because you're replacing a guy that has won a lot of games. Kalen DeBoer's won a lot of games. Kalen DeBoer's won a lot of big games. But you're replacing a beloved figure that changed the lives of every Alabama fan for the better. So you're going to get panic. You're going to get some people that say, hey, let's see how it ends up, right? because this is just part of the new transfer portal era, this, that, and the other. But I'll tell Alabama fans this. He's not going to be able to recreate what Nick Saban did. I don't think anybody's going to be able to do that. And if there's one person out there that can, it's probably Kirby Smart right now with what they've done. But this guy has won everywhere he's been. You have to give him a chance, right? And the first time it inevitably goes wrong, you've got to be able to see the beach through the forest. But I really honestly think it's going to fall on deaf ears, because 90% of SEC fan bases would be pissed off anyways, and especially Alabama, which has had the best Christmas of all the Christmases for so long that the minute you don't get every present you want, you can't pitch a fit and want to call the cops.
Well, I've always said if the head coach of a program leaves, then the players he recruited should be able to transfer as well. I said that long before this whole transfer portal mess opened up, because, that's the person who recruited you. That's why it's there, especially when it comes to a schematic fit, right? Now, you said something the other day I think is true when you used the phrase, some guys just want to transfer. And especially at 18, 19, 20 years old, when you've been getting yelled at all season to perform better and it's hard and you're away from home the first time, people want to transfer and think the grass is always greener on the other side. I firmly believe that when you made a commitment to a place, you should do your best to honor that commitment, unless there's some opportunity that is just going to put you in that much better of a position to succeed in the long term. Maybe that's the decision some of these guys are making, even though I don't see Caleb Downs' future being any brighter if he goes to Georgia or if he transfers to LSU than if he were to stay at Alabama. My question for you is, given the era of NIL and guys are trying to maximize their value and their compensation, is there an element of entering the transfer portal here from some of these guys just to leverage the new coach at Alabama and maybe they return?
Well, I think every case is circumstantial, right? I don't like when we generalize everything and put it all into one pot. Like everybody's trying to leverage, money in NIL by getting in the transfer portal, when some guys are hopping in the transfer portal because they genuinely want to leave and they do want to keep it about business. But maybe they want to follow a guy like T-Rob. So I do think, though, why would you not? And listen, this happens in business all the time. You may not like it. You may not like that guys can get in the transfer portal and leverage their ability to maybe get more NIL money or leverage themselves in certain situations to accumulate something that benefits them in college football, right? But people get pissed off, and this is talking. If you don't like the tax loopholes that people take advantage of, then don't have tax loopholes. But don't get mad at me if I'm making a smart business decision by leveraging myself in the transfer portal. And I'll go a step further, David. Right now, there's never been a smarter time to commit to a coach, not a place. Why would you commit to just a place right now when you have the summer of love and the 70s type freedom of the transfer portal? Hell, I can just go where he goes. And if he's the head coach and he decides to go somewhere else, that now opens me up to be eligible to go with him. And I'm already going to commit to him because I think he's my guy, philosophically, schematically, to benefit my future. A lot of guys committed to Nick Saban, and they were smart too.
Yeah.
Why would I not commit to a coach when I can follow him around everywhere, right? So a lot of people don't like it, and I get it, because college football, we love it because it's that local feel, right? You feel closer. It doesn't feel as corporate as the NFL. And a lot of the changes feel pretty corporate. But if I'm a employee while a business is becoming more corporate, I'm going to take advantage of every area to be able to give myself the chance to accumulate the most I can and be able to take care of myself and my family the most. And I'm not going to look down upon somebody for taking advantage of a tax loophole if the loophole is there. That's called being smart.
Yeah, it's a wild west right now for sure.
Hey, YouTube, what's up? Thanks for stopping by. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Check us out. Roll through our videos. We drop content all the time. Turn that notification bell on as well so you can be updated when we do release it.